Bill Gates built one of the largest fortunes in human history. But years after his divorce was finalized, the checks are still being written. And not small checks. We're talking billions. Nearly 5 years after ending his marriage with Melinda French Gates, Bill Gates has quietly transferred another $7.88 billion to his ex-wife, adding yet another massive chapter to what many people already call the most expensive divorce ever recorded. And somehow, his fortune barely moved. That's the part that's hard to comprehend. Most people hear the number billions and think generational wealth. But in the world of ultra-billionaires, money moves differently. According to tax filings first highlighted by the New York Times, the transfer was made in 2024 to Melinda's organization, Pivotal Philanthropies. And this wasn't just some random donation or friendly contribution after the divorce. It was part of a much larger agreement quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Reports say that after Melinda officially stepped away from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in May of 2024, she requested that Bill commit $12.5 billion toward her future philanthropic ventures. And now representatives close to the situation say the full amount has officially been delivered, $12.5 billion. To put that into perspective, that's more money than the entire net worth of many celebrities, athletes, and CEOs combined. And this is all happening after the divorce was already finalized years ago. Which raises a bigger question. How much does it actually cost to separate from one of the richest people on Earth? Because this latest transfer is only a fraction of what Melinda already received. When the couple originally split in 2021, reports estimated that Melinda walked away with roughly $76 billion in assets. That instantly made her one of the wealthiest women alive. Private jets, luxury estates, massive stock holdings, and influence powerful enough to shape global philanthropy for decades. For most people, numbers like this don't even feel real anymore. But what's even crazier is what happened to Bill Gates afterward. Almost nothing. Despite transferring tens of billions of dollars over the years, Gates is still reportedly worth well over $120 billion today. That's billionaire wealth at a completely different scale. Because while average people rely on paychecks, billionaires rely on ownership, investments, equity, long-term market growth, and assets that continue multiplying even while money is being spent. That's why someone like Bill Gates can lose billions and still remain one of the richest men in the world. And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons this divorce became such a global obsession. Not just because of the relationship itself, but because it exposed how different the world of extreme wealth really is. The split also came with controversy. Shortly after the divorce announcement, reports resurfaced about Gates's past relationship with a Microsoft employee, something later described as inappropriate by multiple outlets. The situation reportedly played a role in Gates stepping down from Microsoft's board back in 2020. And once those stories became public, the image surrounding one of tech's most respected figures started to shift. For years, Bill Gates had built a reputation as the calm billionaire genius focused on innovation and philanthropy. But suddenly, headlines weren't about technology anymore. They were about secrets, affairs, power, and one of the most expensive separations the world had ever seen. Still, despite all the media attention, both Bill and Melinda continued expanding their influence after the divorce. Melinda began focusing more heavily on women's rights, leadership programs, and independent philanthropic projects through Pivotal Ventures. Meanwhile, Gates continued investing in climate technology, healthcare initiatives, AI, and global development projects. In a strange way, the divorce didn't slow either of them down. It just created two separate billion-dollar empires instead of one. And maybe that's the most fascinating part of all this. Because most divorces are about division. This one was about multiplication, more foundations, more influence, more money moving through the world, even after the relationship ended. But the internet still can't get over one thing: the sheer amount of money involved. Imagine wiring nearly $8 billion years after a divorce and still waking up as one of the richest people alive. That level of wealth is almost impossible to relate to. And yet stories like this continue proving the same thing over and over again. At the highest level of money and power, the rules are completely different. Because when your fortune is measured in hundreds of billions, even heartbreak can come with $1 billion price tag.